Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. This is where accounting professionals just like you come to learn the most efficient and powerful ways to grow their firm, sharpen their sales skills, and have consistent increasing revenue. We cover topics from sales, networking, handling objections, negotiation, pricing, finding those ideal clients, and how to get rid of the ones that just don't suit you and how to set those boundaries so you can stop giving away your time, working for free, putting yourself on sale, and really start to get paid for the value and the worth that you bring to your clients. You'll learn tips, strategies, as well as hear others from personal interviews from successful accounting professionals. This podcast will show you exactly how to create the firm and life of your dreams full of abundance. Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. Today we have a very special guest. Our special guest is the owner of Apex Method, which he started in 2019, and it focuses on helping accounting, tax, and bookkeeping firm owners get more leads and get the clients through their online marketing. His specific focus is helping you establish a social media presence and generate leads on a consistent basis. Our special guest has helped over 500 accounting and bookkeeping firm owners with marketing and continues to work with more and more to have a positive impact in the accounting industry. But before we welcome our very special guest to the show, if you are an accounting, tax, or bookkeeping firm owner, or you have a firm on the side and you want to quit your job, and you want to stop trading time for dollars, stop slaving away for someone else, and really get rid of those overly demanding clients and finally get paid based on your value and worth while still massively boosting your revenue, here's what I have for you. Here at The Abundant Accountant, I show you how to have a system in place in your firm so you can not only talk to your ideal clients who value your time, but so you can catapult your firm to the next level and only work the hours you want to work while still having plenty of free time every single week for your family and your friends. And not only that, I'm going to show you how to do all of this in a way that feels simple, effortless, and automatic. So if you want me to show you exactly how to do this, go to theabundantcall.com right now to book a call with me and my team. Once again, that's theabundantcall.com and book a call with me and my team. And now let's welcome our very special guest, Cameron Montgomery, to the show. Welcome, Cameron, to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being back here on the Abundant Accountant Podcast. It's just been so great to finally work together. I feel like this is like a match made in heaven. And for everyone that's wondering, well, Michelle, how is this a match made in heaven? Let's dive into that after Cameron introduces himself and just shares a little bit about him and his business. So Cameron, why don't you do a little intro, even though I've already done it? I think it's always better to come directly from you.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. So a little bit about me. I have been in business for about 5 years and I own Apex Methods. And essentially, bottom line, what I do is I help bookkeepers and accountants with their online marketing. Specifically, my focus is on the lead gen side of things. And so I walk them through and mentor them in getting a lead gen system implemented, start booking those calls. And then, as you're saying, the match made in heaven, where now, I help them book the calls and you help them close those calls.
Yes.
And it's working out great so far.
It is. And, we've been talking a lot this year about marketing and sales and the difference between the two, because here at The Abundant Accountant, when people reach out to me for help, one of the questions I ask, Cameron, is what is the biggest challenge you're having around your sales process or system in your firm? And I would say 90 to 95% of the time, it's I need better leads. I need qualified leads. And I'm like, that's actually not a sales problem. That is a marketing challenge. That's a marketing issue that you have. And if you have that problem, you should give Cameron a call, not me a call, because Cameron will help you identify to get you the leads that you're looking for, to get the quality leads that you're looking for, because that's not a sales problem. So why do you think that is, Cameron? Why do you think firm owners, marketing, bookkeepers, accounting, tax firm owners, how do we have the misconception that that's actually a sales challenge?
I that's such a good question. I think the main reason is one, when you're new to an area of business, you don't know, you can only go off of so many things that you've heard in the past.
Mm.
And anything in college, if anybody's gone to college, but even if not, totally fine. And you when you hear about marketing, it feels like it's just this big creative side of business where it's fluid, it's flexible, things run together. You try this, you try that. And so then when they go to start trying to get clients, they think it's just this big like mush of things you do. And the
Hmm.
reality is it's not. It's actually extremely structured. And whenever something is extremely structured, it creates separation, right? So in marketing,
Yep.
there's different categories with separation. But with marketing lead gen, there's an absolute separation from a sales process, right? And in sales, there's separation in processes and procedures you do. So I think it's just kind of this misconception that to grow business, it's a creative aspect, it's a fluid aspect. You got to be good at just kind of going with the flow and working with people or being creative. And there are aspects of that, but I just think if there's anything I could say to the industry is that there is structure and there is separation. And when you have that, marketing and sales become so much more simplified.
Yeah, and they become separate. They're completely different things and activities that you do in your firm. So, talking to clients, getting paid, not sending proposals and quotes, not having AR, collecting money up front, dealing with anything from the time you get the client on the phone or in the email box or referred to you, that is a sales separation department of your firm where it requires a certain structure as well. And then the marketing side is getting the lead. It's doing the creative, fluid part in a structured way in order to attract the ideal client that you want, that then will go into your sales structure, completely separate.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I've seen it so many times where people they're really good at lead gen, but they really struggle at sales. Or opposite, they're great at sales and they really struggle at lead gen. So I think you just lined it out really well that they're different departments. They both go into client acquisition, right? And they
Yep.
both go into growth of a business. But the first step is just understanding that these are two different areas of growing a business.
Yeah, I love it that you called it. They are different departments, but they all tie into the client acquisition side of what I call your top line revenue on your P&L. Because without the two of them, then you don't really have any clients unless your lead gen is 100% referrals, then you're not trying to reach out to anybody new. You're relying on all referrals. So great. So, because we have Cameron, love it that you're here on the show again. And I love all the support that you've helped my clients with on the lead gen side once they learn how to close and sell and get paid up front and have a process so they're not wasting hours on end having meetings with clients who they don't even qualify to work with them. We're going to talk about the simple structure of marketing on how you can generate the leads today, following Cameron's 4 steps that he's going to share with you today. So that I'm very excited about because we're going to talk about the department of marketing in your firm. Remember, 2 different departments. We have a sales department and we have a marketing department. We're going to be discussing the marketing department today. So, Cameron, what's that first step? How do we go about this? Brand new firm owner, or maybe they've had their firm a while and they're like, you know what? I do not like the type of clients I've been working with. I need to upgrade. I need to change my process.
Yes. Yeah. So number one, you just said the first step is understanding that separation. But now that we have that separation, and if we put a magnifying glass on the lead generation side of everything, we just want to start understanding the step-by-step process and the structure that comes to it. So, well, this is one of my favorite topics to discuss in marketing because it's actually a lot like accounting in a way that accounting is not go with the flow, try this, try that. It's all structured and it's a system that you can look at, you can understand, and it's just based on logic, right? And we want to do the same thing with marketing. So the first area that you want to take a look at with your marketing is we don't want to try to get leads right away, but we want to understand, well, what are we doing with our marketing? So we want to set a simple strategy, a simple marketing strategy, right? So it's the first area that I help my clients with. And you can spend weeks on a marketing strategy. We don't want to do that. We just want to get really straightforward and to the point. And so there's three main pillars that when you're setting this marketing strategy, you're getting this direction that you want to establish. And what those pillars are, number one and most important is who are you marketing to, right? We don't want to market to everybody in the country. When you market to everybody, you market to nobody. So we need to understand who is the target market. Once we understand, we want to choose them with strategy, by the way. We don't want to just randomly like, oh, I grew up and my family business was a shoe repair shop, so I'm going to do shoe repair, right? Like that does not mean we're going to have success with them because you enjoy them with online marketing. We want to strategically choose that niche. And once we know who we're marketing to, now we can decide, well, okay, what are we going to market to them about? Meaning, what are the pains, fears, needs, desires that they are having specifically that you can help them with? And where are you going to market to them? Right. So this first step in getting clients with lead gen is just getting a direction, a clarity. What most people do is they go in, they just think, okay, I need some clients right now. And they heard that referrals are good, partnering with CPAs are good, emails are good, networking is good, and social media is good. And they just try to blast everything with no plan. Right.
That sounds like a complete waste of time.
Yes, it is a complete waste of time. And it's a frustrating one. And that's why I've noticed a lot of accountants hate marketing, right? They're like, oh, got to go out there and got to go do this, got to do that. And it's like, no, you don't. You just need to get first before anything, before you ever try to get a lead. You just need to understand, okay, well, who am I even marketing to? What am I going to market to them about? Meaning, well, what are they struggling with? What are they wanting with their accounting? And where am I going to market to them? Mm-hmm. Right. And once we understand that, now we're starting to get a little bit of clarity to what we're doing. Right. Mm-hmm. And focusing on that last one, that where, as this is a big question, is okay, well, where should I market? There's a lot of options out there.
Right.
And, for sake of time, I'm not going to go through the whole breakdown right now, but there's a reason that I focus on Facebook personally, right? It doesn't mean that I can't get clients in other platforms. I do get clients on other platforms because I'm on multiple platforms. I've been marketing for a long time. I've grown my business, so it's appropriate for me. But when you're starting out in marketing and lead generation, you don't want to try to be on every single platform and try to be maximizing those platforms, because there is a lot of complexity in that. And complexity is the enemy of execution. Rather than that, we want to do a process of elimination, understand what medium is going to be the best, which is social media marketing. Within social media marketing, what platform is going to be the most effective and most simplified and systematic, which is going to be Facebook. And then we just focus on Facebook, right? So for example, if I'm a new firm and I decide, okay, who am I marketing to? I want to work with online coaches, right? Like what we do. I want to work with online coaches. I know what I'm going to market to them about. I know what they're thinking about, what they're struggling, what's keeping them up at night.
What would you say that would be if you were to say, okay, you identified number one. Let's just say there's a firm owner right now. We're going to walk them through the thinking process, and they've figured out the online coaches. I actually have a woman in my mastermind group. That's what she wants, like online coaches who also do speaking engagements. And then when you think about, what are you going to market to them about, thinking about what keeps them up at night, what are the things that you've thought of, Cameron, for that audience that you would be saying to them?
Yeah. So for that, there's different layers to it. The first layer you want to establish is like, well, what's kind of everybody dealing with? So for example, like cash flow or taxes, right? Like you can market to people about that and you'll catch eyes, but then what you really want to think of, well, what do coaches deal with cash flow typically? And if you're brand new, say if you haven't had that much experience with coaches, it's okay as you market, as you talk to them, as you work with them, you'll understand that more. But some specific things are like, okay, so cash flow, they are typically struggling with a reoccurring cash flow because they're doing coaching programs, right? So there's not a lot of times there's not a monthly reoccurring. Well, that's a struggle they have. So maybe there's something you can help them add that's recurring. Accounts receivable, that's one that they're going to struggle with if they break down their program into payments.
Payment.
They can be struggling on those accounts receivable. Maybe they're breaking it out to 12 months when they should be breaking it out to 3 months at most, or not doing it at all and just doing full payments, right?
Mhm.
Taxes, a lot of coaches, I would say, don't once they start making money, they don't even know what an S corp is versus a LLC, right? So, okay, well, how can I save on that? They don't know that they need to run payroll. They don't know how much payroll they should run for themselves. Like, what's the reasonable compensation to stay in compliance? And then all the, being an online coach is unique because you can do really well and you're working from home. So what are all those things you can deduct from home? What are the conferences you can go to if you want to take your family somewhere, but you can also make this a business trip, right? And so those are just a handful of examples
Yeah.
that coaches are thinking about because coaches are thinking, I want freedom, I want to maximize profits. So how can you help them with that, right? And start talking their language on it. Where if you're marketing to say construction, you're probably going to want to be talking about job profitability, job costing, obtaining equipment, labor costs, right? What for your crew,
Yeah, having
subcontracting.
financials in order to even get a loan, because most
Right,
people
exactly.
don't
Like
get a loan because their books are a mess or not in order.
yeah, yeah. So that's what, when you niche down, and that's why we have to start with who, because construction versus coaches, that's different. That you're different things you're going to be talking about, right?
Mhm.
Like you start talking about obtaining loans, getting equipment, job costing to a coach will be like, "What are you talking about?" Right? Um, and then so that is, and you talk about like laptop freedom that coach wants, and working for wherever you are, maximizing those deductions as you're working from wherever you want to be working. Someone in construction might be like, "What are you talking about? I got to do construction here." So that's why we start with who are we marketing to? Then we go to what are we going to market to them about, which is not about you and your business. It's about them and their needs and desires
And challenges.
and challenges. Yes. Yeah.
Hmm. Yep.
And then we go to where, which is sake of time, it always narrows down to Facebook. So step one of this whole thing before you ever try to generate a lead, you just need to know this is who I'm marketing to. It's strategically chosen. This is what I'm going to market to them about, and this is where I'm going to market to them. So once we have that, a lot of people have never gone there and they're like, okay, I'm getting some clarity. I understand the direction with my marketing. Now we go to step two, which is still not lead gen. We're still not ready to go to coaches and start trying to get coaches. Before you ever try to generate a lead, you need to get positioned to that target market, right? And so this is your online presence. Where if you're not if I'm trying to market to coaches and I'm not positioned to them, why would they want to work with me over somebody else, especially if there's someone else local to them, right?
Yep.
So before I do those leads, I got to get positioned. And what we do on Facebook is this is simply just your personal profile, a business page, and ideally a website, right? That if I'm going for coaches, all three of those, they look the same, they have the same feel, and they're saying, I provide accounting and tax services to online coaches or to construction business owners,
Hmm.
right? Where we are now that heart surgeon to their heart problem. And whenever they see us, they see, oh, this person is helping me with exactly what I need, right? So these first two steps, these are the marketing foundations, right? We set these first because now we are strategically positioned to a target market that we know needs our help with accounting, right? Which that, like I said, a lot of people they just skip over that. They go straight into lead gen, all these random things, all these different platforms, no idea who they're marketing to. no positioning, no strength to their marketing. And that's where I see the biggest struggles is they skip these first foundational parts.
Hmm.
So now once we have that established, now we get into a system, right? Step three, this is the lead generation system. And when you think of lead generation, you do not want to be trying random things on a daily basis. You do not want to be going into, say, for example, Facebook groups and trying to post value and loiter in groups and start conversations. Again, not that that's impossible to get clients that way. You can get clients that way, but that's not very systematic. We want to have a daily workflow that you just do on a day-to-day basis. It's the same exact thing. It's built on logic. And the more you do it, the longer you do it, the more effective it becomes. Right.
Yeah.
And so up to this point, our example is I'm doing
Online
accounting and
coaches.
tax for online coaches. I am positioned to them. And there are three things that you need to do on a daily basis on Facebook to start getting these clients. Number one, and most important, is you need to grow your audience with online coaches, right? Without an audience of online coaches, I could have the best content in the world. It doesn't matter. No online coach is seeing it, right?
Now,
And
are
so
they
that's
doing that inside a group, a Facebook group, or on their personal profile pages?
personal. Yeah, great question. So there's different levels to marketing to Facebook marketing. Level one is what I call beginner organic marketing. Level two is advanced organic marketing, and level three is paid advertising. Right? We start with organic lead generation because it's free, and we get a proof of concept, and we get raised revenue. Right. And then and that's through beginner and advanced, just depending on the comfort level of marketing. And then once we get that proven marketing concept to say example coaches, we got raised revenue. We're ready to put $2,000 a month into ads. Then we go and do our ads, and our organic and ads race together. Where a lot of people make a mistake is they skip organic, they go straight to ads, and a it can, even if with a proof of concept, it's going to take some time to get them working.
Yep.
But without a proof of concept in marketing to coaches, you're taking a stab in the dark and you're just hoping that something's going to work. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but you're taking a pretty big gamble there. But then also, if you're only doing ads and if you've never done organic, if you're only doing ads, if you ever have to turn those ads off, let's say the ads stop working, let's say you just got to turn them off for whatever reason, you don't have a way to get clients anymore because you haven't been growing organically, right?
Yeah. Well, and if the organic way, you're not investing money at 1,000, 2,000 a month, and then you can also learn how to close, because if you can't close your organic leads that you're getting, then why are you ever going to spend money on that? You're not going to have an ROI at all. And I think that's a big thing that you've seen. Some people are, like you said, really good at lead gen and not so good at the closing, that until you get good at both, I wouldn't even spend $1 on marketing and paying for that until you get all your kinks worked out and you've got your lead gen going. You've called me, you have a closing process, you know how to sell, you have zero AR, you're not sending out a proposal or quote, and you're getting paid in the first meeting. Until all there's no point in going any further in any marketing, because otherwise you're just throwing money down the drain. You probably have better odds, Cameron, going to Vegas and putting 1 or 2 grand on, in craps or in blackjack or something and seeing how well you do. Because if you can't close, I always say it's like going to Vegas and just seeing how well you do.
That's such a good comparison you just made. You really would have way better odds of taking that money and just putting it on blackjack, or not blackjack, but on roulette. Just like, okay, 1,000 on red,
Yeah.
and it's 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
And because you're right, if you don't have a proof of marketing concept to generate leads, and on top of that, you don't have a sales process after working with you, then you're spending all this money on ads, just hoping like, okay, now how am I going to close them? Right? It just doesn't make sense. So that's why ads they're awesome. you and I both run ads, but because it's appropriate for where we're at in our business, but they're a down the road thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, back to your question on groups or personal profile, that's where the separation is from beginner organic and advanced. In advanced organic, we create a group alongside our personal and we just
Mm.
increase the level of our marketing. In beginner, we always focus on a personal profile. And the reason for that is because that's the fastest and the easiest way to grow an audience. And so if I want to grow an audience with online coaches, I can grow my friends list up to 5,000 and I can get that there way faster than if I try to grow a group organically, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
once I've gotten up to a few thousand, now I can start utilizing that few thousand of my personal audience to then grow a group with, right?
Yep.
And with that being said, a lot of people say, well, I don't want to intermingle my personal profile and my business. Totally understand, but now you can have Facebook, something new, somewhat new. It was last year. Facebook lets you have one profile with multiple or one account with multiple personal profiles, right? So that means you can keep your personal has nothing to do with business. You're not marketing to your friends and family, being an MLMer. And then so you keep that personal. Now you have another profile, the same exact thing,
That's
and
cool.
that's 100% about business.
Yeah, I didn't know that. You'll have to show me that,
I
Cameron, because
will,
I was
yeah.
like, I have 4,900 friends, I think. I'm like, there's no way I could do this.
Oh, no way. Yeah, so you would not want to use that one. But yeah, I'll show you. It's so easy to do. And so
Okay.
this new one, there's no crossover. Your 4,900 friends will have no idea that anything's going on with the business.
Nice.
And then you can maximize your marketing on a personal profile, right? And then down the road, which you already have a group, but just for people listening, down the road, once you have this audience and this following on the personal, it's a lot easier to grow a group from that. Now you
Mm.
become more of an authority in a space in a niche market, and you are seen in like thousands in each. So you're seen by thousands in each audience. That's how we start stabilizing ourselves in marketing, insulating ourselves in marketing, and having a long-term asset we can market to for free.
Yeah.
Then after that, we do ads.
Love it. Okay. So back to the three things each day, right? Because I think we kind of got off on a tangent, but that was lovely, and I'm glad you explained it all. And just because I have to plug you, Cameron, if someone wants to get help with their organic marketing, how can they find you? Because this seems overwhelming, and I know it is for a lot of firm owners, but you guys don't need to reinvent the wheel. Cameron's here. He's here to support those who are committed to investing what he's going to tell us, the three things you have to do every day. So I know it's Apex Methods, but how do they find you?
Yes, absolutely. So the first way is if you want to check out my website, there's got some testimonials on it. It's apex-methods.com. And there's also, you can book a call there if you want to learn more about what the program looks like. Also on Facebook, just find me on Facebook, send me a friend request. I'm on there all day. But then my email is just Cameron, which is Cameron at apex-methods.com.
Perfect.
And
Awesome.
those are kind of the three main ways. But yeah, feel free to reach out anytime. And so back to those three items we do, right? So
Yes.
we've established at this point that we know who we're marketing to. In this example, online coaches. What are we marketing about? It's everything they want, need, and they're struggling with. Where are we going to market to them is Facebook. The way we're going to be marketing to them is through beginner organic marketing, right? On Facebook.
Yep.
And so we've gotten positioned on our personal profile and a business page, ideally a website too. It's not required, but it does help. It's good to have. And now we move into lead gen, which is step three. So
Perfect.
the system, this logical system, and by the end of it, it's just kind of clicks usually. It's like, oh yeah, well, how could I possibly not get clients if I do this? Is those three daily categories. So each day, category number one is you grow your audience with online coaches. So in this new profile, you can put 5,000 coaches in there. It takes time and effort, obviously, but you can put 5,000 coaches in there. My audience has 4,500 bookkeeping and accounting business owners, right? And so if I have this friends list, this audience of online coaches, well, now I know that if I post, they're going to see that content. They don't have a
Yep.
choice. It's just going to pop up right in front of their face, right?
Yep.
So if I know that, then I'm going to make that content about their pains, their fears, their needs, and their desires that they have with marketing, right? Or accounting for
Yep.
if you're an accounting firm. So here's the big thing is so many accounting firms have such a big struggle with creating content because they don't have experience with it.
Yep.
And one of the big messages I try to get across is you do not need to do advanced content to get clients. And what I mean by that is you do not need to do lives. You don't need to do webinars, trainings. You don't need to do long posts and pictures of you, graphic design. That's all fantastic, but that's advanced marketing. That's when you're comfortable with it, when you want to take things to the next level.
Once you've proven that this works.
Right. Yeah. And once
Yeah.
you're comfortable with it and you've learned about online coaches, you're like, oh, I know exactly what they're thinking about. Right. So all you have to do in the beginning to make a impression on an industry is you just have to say these really simple sentences. Right. It is so, and those often get a lot more traction than the longer posts anyways, but they're a lot easier to do. So for example, if I have 4,500 bookkeeping and accounting business owners,
Hmm.
all I have to say is bookkeepers and accountants, do you struggle to create content? Right? Remember, this is beginner level marketing, just getting the ball rolling. This is like in the world of accounting, you're doing basic bookkeeping, not CFO services.
Yep.
And for me, when I say that, I know there's a lot of people in those 4,500 that are going to see that and they're like, yeah, I am struggling, right? Maybe they're not going to flock to me, but I'm starting to make an impression, right? And for sales, right, Michelle, is you could say accounting firms. Do you have a proven sales process in place, or are you going at it from a random approach?
Yeah. Or I would just say what a client shared with me yesterday: accounting, tax, and bookkeeping firm owners. When you share your prices, do you hear crickets? When you share your fees and your prices, do you feel you're scaring people away?
Absolutely. That's all it takes. And it's like if you can write at a sixth grader writing level and put a colored background behind it, you can get clients from it. And so a big message I try to get is it's not about advanced content, it's about strategic content.
Mm,
That said, if you mix strategic and advanced, it works fantastic, but just know that you don't have to in the start. You can just keep it really, really simple.
yeah.
So at this point, we've grown the audience. Now we're nurturing them with content. And the last thing we do is we want to learn how to contact them, right? Which contacting is always the least enjoyable part of growing a business, but it's just the beginning way to grow a business. Eventually, you want to fire yourself from doing any kind of contacting. Um, but it's not enjoyable. But God, we were laughing about it right before this. We had our weekly group call, and everyone's just like, I wish messaging didn't work so well because it does work so well and it's so predictable and it's a way to rely on to get clients right now because growing an audience and putting content in front of them, that takes time. You're not going to immediately get it until you got to grow, you got to stay consistent, and then they start coming in. So in that in between time, we get clients through contacting, right? Eventually, like fortunately where I'm at, I don't really have to do contacting anymore. It's all just from inbound leads, but I had to put in that startup level marketing to get the ball rolling on that. And so at the end of this, if you think of structure and logic in lead generation, you want to ask yourself, like, how could I not get clients in this way? Right. And then we'll talk about step four. But what we've done, and just everyone kind of take a step back, everyone listening to this, and think of who is your target market? Who do you want to work with? And imagine this process is complete, and you're going to see it's very illogical to think you won't get clients. Number one is you choose a niche that needs help with accounting, bookkeeping, or tax.
Yep.
Number two is you define, well, what areas of accounting, bookkeeping, and tax do they struggle with? What are the challenges and what do they want?
Yeah.
Number three, we identify Facebook is where we can reach them, right? We want to confirm that they're active on this platform.
Yep.
After we've done that, we've positioned ourselves on Facebook where they're active, saying that we help them in these with bookkeeping, accounting, and tax.
Yeah. But you're talking like they have a heart problem and you're the heart surgeon. So we're also going to address the challenges and problems, fears, and pains they have.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. So if we have that in place, and then if we grow an audience eventually of thousands of this type of business owner that needs help with bookkeeping, accounting, and tax, we put content in front of them about the specific areas of bookkeeping, accounting, and tax that they need help with. And we message them asking, do you need help in these areas of bookkeeping, accounting, and tax? And you systemize that into a daily checklist workflow where you're just literally doing the same thing every day. And eventually you can hand it off to a VA once you get it rolling.
Mm-hmm.
As it grows, how, like, you want to ask yourself, like, how would I not get clients that way? Right. So for
You just
me,
can't close. That's the only way.
yes. And then that brings it to step four. And this is where everyone needs to work with Michelle. Step four is you then need to transition. Like that's the end of the lead gen, right? You do that and you start booking calls. You start inbound leads start coming in from your content, messaging. You're finding the people who need help. And it's just done in this sequential way every
Yeah,
day.
I love it.
You're booking these calls. And then the thing I like about it is it's like wine, it gets better with time. The more
I love it.
the bigger your audience is, the more people are going to see you, the longer they're going to see you, the more you're going to learn, the better you're going to get, the more you're going to understand it. And then you just start predictably booking these calls. And once you're to that point and these just beginner organic marketing, remember there's other forms, but it's just beginner we're talking about. Then you go to the fourth step, and this is working with Michelle, which is you now need a sales process, right? And you're like, okay, I'm booking calls. How do I close these calls? And how do I increase my fees? How do I charge more? Right. And so that is, I mean, I said it was a four-step process. I kind of
You
led
did the
into
three. You did the
yeah, it's
three and then the
three.
sale. But the
Yep.
second you have someone who wants to meet with you to talk about your tax, bookkeeping, CFO services, or whatever it is to get, you're the tax, just say bookkeeping surgeon to their bookkeeping cleanup mess that they have on their hands. The second they book that call with you, it becomes now the sales process. The lead gen marketing is now a thing of the past. It's time to collect dollars and get a new client on your roster. So like you were sharing earlier, and I think I love that, Cameron, is that it is two different departments, right? But the different departments, they each have a 50-50 role in the play in getting the new client. Let's say at a $3,000 a month bookkeeping client. You can't get that client if you don't put 50% of the effort on the marketing side and 50% of the effort on the sales and closing side. They go hand in hand, but together, then you have something on your P&L, because without it, you basically have a hobby. And I don't think anyone's here just to have a hobby or share your prices with someone or the investment of working with you, and then you feel like you're scaring people away, or having your prices out there and sharing it, and then you never hear from anybody back because you're just hearing crickets and you sent off a proposal, and I call it going into proposal land, or you're quoting your fees and you're like wondering, how come this isn't working? That becomes the sales process. So yeah, this is awesome, Cameron. Thank you so much for sharing this literally step-by-step system and process that anybody can do. And I think it's just so simple that it's like, where's the catch? Right, Cameron? I think a lot of people are thinking, oh, it has to be this complicated. I've got to do LinkedIn. I've got to do Twitter. I've got to do TikTok. I got to do all these things. But in reality, you just got to do one and do it really well and do it really consistently. Is there anything else, Cameron, that you want to share with the firm owners today that might be listening that we didn't touch on, that you feel like, oh, I really want to say this? This is also another important element before we wrap up today.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say just overall, if there's one message, if I don't talk to any listener ever again, if you never hear me ever again, is just understand that this side of business is similar to the side that you enjoy and what you focus on, which is bookkeeping and accounting. Bookkeeping and accounting, it's structured, it's logical, it's step by step. While there is aspects of creativity in marketing, you want to look at it through those same lens and the same perspective, that it is structured, it is step by step, and there's separation, like we've talked about, market or lead gen and sales. There is a separation there. There's a point that lead gen ends and you move into sales. And so start understanding and start looking at it and looking for the structure, looking for the logic in everything that you do with marketing. And it will become one easier to do, but you might even start enjoying this part of it.
Yeah, I agree. I've had a lot of firm owners tell me like, oh, Michelle, I actually love the sales part of things now. I have heard that. Or, Michelle, I'm introverted. Like, you want me to do all this and say all this to people? I'm like, yeah, I do. And like you shared with me, I'm going to be your best friend that you've never wanted and never had, but I'll just tell you how it is so you can make a lot of money. Because then you get to do the thing that you really love, which is the cleanup project or the bookkeeping or the fractional CFO services and all that fun stuff. But you could actually enjoy this part of your firm too, instead of dreading every time you have to talk to a client or picking up the phone or feeling like you're underpaid and underpriced and underappreciated, and seeing a way to make that all turn around and have fun with this and enjoy your life. And I think you even mentioned it, have that laptop freedom, because you can. It is possible. Cameron, thank you so much for being here with us today on the Abundant Accountant podcast. It's an honor to have you here, and I can't wait to have you back. So everyone here will be listening to you again.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you having me. And these are a blast. Can't wait for the next time.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Thank you all so much for joining Cameron and I on an amazing episode here at the Abundant Accountant podcast. He is so fun to talk about. It is totally a match made in heaven. And I love how he said, these are two different departments in your firm. And just like you have, different departments, if you do audit or if you do tax or if you do fractional CFO services or if you do tax resolution, there's different departments when it comes to getting your revenue up. And one is sales and one is marketing. But I know that some of you are looking at the pile of work on your desk and saying, I wish it would all disappear. Or maybe you're sick of dreading the busy tax season and every deadline every single year, and you barely see your family for months. Or maybe you're constantly worried about your health, feeling exhausted, and knowing that the stress from all this work is really having a serious impact on you, but you have no idea how to reduce your working hours and increase your revenue and your profits. So if any of that sounds like you, then I have good news, because none of those things are your true problem. The real problem is you do not have a sales system for working only with ideal clients, maximizing revenue, and gaining back your freedom. Our system here at the Abundant Accountant will allow you to gain back your freedom, grow your firm, enjoy your work and family without working long hours and without stressful tax seasons and having to hound clients for paperwork, even if you feel like everything depends on you right now and falls on your shoulders. And this is the same system that I've helped hundreds of firm owners just like you have use to create the firm they've always wanted. So if you want me to show you exactly how to do this, make sure to go to theabundantcall.com right now and book a call with me and my team. We look forward to speaking to you, and have a beautiful day, and we'll see you in the next episode.